weeping lasted all night. I know that joy comes in the morning light. So I march on to a new song, 'cause I've been marching to that old one way too long. And I gotta move on and take new steps every day, 'cause I know there has got to be another way. And a brighter day, so I march on. Hey everybody, welcome to Pure Life. It is Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. We have a wonderful guest tonight, as we do every night, because I'm so blessed to have such wonderful people in my life. Um, but if you have seen it before, that we start off with our sponsors. So here we go.
Hey, sis. My name is Yasmin Brown, and I am the founder of Beauties on Successful Strides. We are your sisterhood community that cares, and we are advocates for your goals being achieved. I'm talking about those goals that you have put on the shelf, those stretch goals that you really, really want to accomplish, but a part of you feel like it might be impossible. We have been helping women to make the impossible happen, and we want to journey with you. We want to be part of your tribe to help you with making the impossible happen. And we do that by helping you to shift from the no zone. The no zone is that zone where it's like, you know what, I really want to do it, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I have enough resources to do so or the support to do so. The no zone is also the fear zone. We help you to shift from the no zone to the no matter what zone. The no matter what zone is having that head crusher, no matter what, get it done, bold, confident mindset. And then we help you to be equipped with spiritual success strategies to success. That is basically helping you with developing systems that works while being part of a community that will support you, love on you, cheer for you, celebrate you, be resource providers for you, and so much more. The time is now, sis. If you are serious about your goals being achieved, if you are serious about making the impossible happen and reaching that next level, then join us. Become part of our sisterhood. Become part of a community that truly, genuinely cares. And I'm just excited to welcome you to Boss soon. Let's go. Let's take them goals off the shelf. Let's make them happen. Let's make the impossible happen for you. See you soon. Bye.
As I let you guys know every day that we're on, she's really like that in real life. It's so awesome. It's a wonderful organization to be a part of. I've had several people from this organization as my guests. The support is amazing. So you really need to get on this. This is the website right here, beautystrives.com. Beautystrives.com. You can go on there and you can let her know, hey, Asia sent you. Okay. All right. And for those of you that want to know, where does she get her fashion from? Well, some of the things that I have worn have come from Posh Women's Apparel, classy, sophisticated, stylish. Here's some of the dresses that she has, and I actually have the one in the far left on the bottom. Yes, indeed. So you guys are interested, you can go on Posh Women's Apparel .com and you can put in the code Asia and you can get 10% off. You're welcome. All right. Now we are going to get into our special guest. I am so excited to introduce to you a wonderful entrepreneur, Miss Mel. Melody Bacon.
Hi. Hi, Asia.
Hey, I'm so happy to have you on. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Isn't she adorable, you guys? So, everybody, remember you can feel free to comment or ask questions throughout the show as we continue. Yes, hello. Hello, Grit. That's our producer right there. So yes, everyone feel free to ask questions and post comments. So, Melody, first of all, I like your ensemble.
Thank you so much, Aja. I love your colors in the background.
Thank
You're
you.
glowing.
I try sometimes. So let's go with okay. So first of all, I want to know before you got started and what you're doing right now, what were your initial ambitions?
I've always been in the fashion industry. So, my initial ambitions were to work in the fashion industry, whether it be all parts of the fashion industry, sales management, from styling to buying. Um,
Hmm.
that was basically my ultimate goal, is to learn the ins and outs of the entire fashion industry.
Yeah. So, what made you think that you had took to break into such an amazing industry? There's so many different people, and it is my understanding that it's actually male dominated, contrary to popular belief. Because people think that it's a woman's thing. There's so much going on in that industry. So what made you think, you know what, I can tackle this?
What inspired me as a young child. My stepmother was a seamstress. She went to my alma mater, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, majored in the exact same thing, except for she majored for design. I majored in fashion merchandising design. In high school, I was always, cutting up my clothes, and I dressed up every single day. Like, there was not a day that I didn't dress up, and I continued that up into my college years, until my feet started hurting post college years. But a lot of people always say, "Oh, you dress so well, you dress so nice," or I always get questions about like what to wear, how to wear it.
Mhm.
Even now when I'm out shopping, ladies are always just turn to me, and I'm like, "Okay, why out of all the ladies in the store, look?" And I'm like, "Okay, Lord, it must be divine in terms of just
Mhm.
in fashion." So that, I
Mhm.
believe, encouraged me, in my younger years, to pursue the career in fashion, and to just believe that I had what it takes to actually work in this industry.
Okay, so when you were getting ready, I guess you could get into the industry, um was it like kind of intimidating, or were you like, hey, I'm made for this?
I think I wouldn't say I was innate made for it. You know, in studying fashion, and just back in my school days, there wasn't a lot of males in my just in the department, in the program, in the school of arts. I
Hmm.
think it was predominantly female, which means it was very comfortable for me. Like, we were just like, hey, just like a bunch of girls, you know, no
Yeah.
matter what ethnicity, coming together to learn the business and things of that sort. And even post, working in the industry after school, I didn't see intimidation in terms of like, in terms of male and female, in terms of the industry. So uh,
Mhm.
I think it was very the industry has been kind of a, have they say nature versus nurture, kind of combination of nature.
Yeah. So, like, did you feel motivated to create fashion, Or was your motivation from the very beginning just to introduce?
I believe that in the beginning, so I started off like, okay, I'm gonna major in design. They, parents bought me this sewing machine and everything,
Hmm.
but I've never been able to draw. Right? I cannot draw a lick,
Okay.
as they say.
Mhm.
But I can come up with concepts and ideas, and so I kind of was always driven towards sales and marketing.
Okay.
I mean, from a young girl selling Avon, 10, 11 years old, like my whole entire neighborhood had Avon. All of the kids in grammar school and high school was like, how is she selling Avon? It is because I'm like, hey, I can do that. I can sell and sell you something to put on. So the
Mhm.
marketing side is where I tend, marketing, fashion, and merchandising and visual display became more of my strength in terms of actually like designing. Though I do have concepts in my head that I can relate to another person.
Okay, okay. So I was looking up the statistics surrounding black-owned business, and I noticed that the biggest industry was in the health department. So when you decided to cross over and create your own organization, were you concerned about you being profitable, or what was your mindset going into this?
That's a very good question. Yeah, in terms of like high net worth, high net worth positions and careers. Surely fashion sometimes doesn't come to is at the bottom, of the list for a lot of people. It's not, but it's a bit. It could be, as you can see, from major high end fashion designers, it could be a very lucrative, business, depending
Mhm.
on what part of the industry you really want to be a part of. So I wasn't honestly, I didn't think about that. I thought about doing what I like to do and what I was passionate
Mhm.
about. That eventually that will make room for me as I continue to work and be diligent in, in whatever I decide, whatever part of the industry. But there are some roles that do pay more within this industry than others,
Mhm.
within the fashion industry.
So, why don't you break down for my audience what exactly it is that you do? Introduce yourself in your way.
Oh, so I'm Melody Boykin. I like to consider myself as a fashion enthusiast, a fashion historian, and an African American fashion historian. One who is a cultural gatekeeper for the African American fashion community, prayerfully for generations to come. And what that means is that I curate and produce fashion shows featuring minority designers to expose their talent via runway presentation. I also host events like pop up shops and Black History programming, as I believe in not only helping to progress the business for minority designers, but also to preserve the history. So that is my niche. Um, Profession that I have carved out for myself, within the fashion industry. So, in a nutshell, marketing, production, and media.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. And here's, I love this. So, you have a book, you have a guide. What does guide provide for people? And as you guys can see, it's available on all kinds of different platforms, so you can get it yourself. So what does this provide?
So the guy is a travel guide for Black-owned fashion boutiques, primarily here in Chicago by neighborhood. It does have bonus listings to other cities across the nation, West Coast, East Coast, for those who are traveling.
Hmm.
So I have an African American fashion or African American history background degree as well. I minored in Black American Studies, and that I wanted to blend the fashion, the marketing, and the Black history. Those are the three things that I actually love to do. So this book is a modern day version of the the Green Book. If anyone knows about the Green Book, 1936, Victor Hugo Green, New York postman, wanted to create a travel guide for Blacks during the Jim Crow era to one help with the safety of Black Americans in this country during the very high racial tensions during that era. He created that guide, which went strong which continued to prosper as a travel book for like 3 to 4 generations. I mean, 3 to 4 decades. I said generations, but decades. So from well into the early 70s. So my guide, when I was thinking about what I wanted to do several years ago, I said, hey, we don't have a Black fashion travel guide. So anyone comes to Chicago and want to, travel Black fashion weeks, within my niche industry, I was like, there isn't anything that, that lists all of the boutiques conglomerately by neighborhoods. And that was the whole concept behind this book. Bonus features in this book includes like a fashion glossary, like just basic terminology within the fashion industry that many minorities may have not, they may not be aware of. They didn't grow up with magazines like Vogue or Elle, or they're not familiar with the terminology. I wanted to educate people on basic fashion, terms like knowing the difference between fibers and fabrics and synthetic fabrics and real fabrications and things of that sort, and then I wanted to provide a body figure chart. Years ago, I worked in high fashion, and I would style women, all the time, and I would help them dress for their body figure type. And I really just wanted to educate Black women primarily on how to dress for their different body figure types. And so that is the nutshell of this book. And it features discounts to stores, like not just in the incentive to go there, but also to save, with the guide. I have one here. So like by neighborhood, Chicagoland area, if you buy my book, you go to those stores. There's discounts for the publication where you would actually receive a first-time shopper's discount to those stores. And then the book offers, sneak peeks into each business, an outside sneak peek and an inside.
Okay. So you kind of open the door for the whole Green Book situation. Um, have you gotten any flack for your title? So the website that you have is called blackfashionweekusa.com. Have you gotten any flack for your focus on Black fashion specifically, as opposed to being more abroad?
I have. When I started about 5 years ago, it was a tremendous challenge. Getting emails from people and was like, obviously they weren't Black, but they would just give me these random emails to say, oh, just bad stuff, talking about why there need to be a Black Fashion Week. There's already a Fashion Week. And I'm like, well, if Blacks were included in the Fashion Weeks and, more Blacks could afford to, be in the A-list shows in New York, then obviously you will see more minority designers in the mainstream fashion. Two, you will see more of them being covered in the major magazines such as Vogue and Elle. It wasn't until recent in the last, because of the recent things that have happened, Black Lives Matter and things of that sort, that we've seen minorities gracing the covers of, major magazines. So I did get a lot of flack for the title Black Fashion Week, as well as the book and things of that sort. So yeah, that comes every now and then. Yeah, I'll get, and I'll get it from minorities, Americans as well.
Does it dampen your spirits?
It can at times, because I'm thinking like, okay, there is a Black at one point, and they're still around. BET, I mean, they're BET, but it was Black entertainment television. And I had a huge challenge with federally trademarking. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I own the trademark for Black Fashion Week. Now, in the last 2 to 3 years, there's a lot of Black Fashion Weeks popping up, but I fought for that, and I had a lot of trouble with the USPTO because they were like, define Black. fashion. And I'm like, but there's Black
Yeah.
entertainment television, and there's Black enterprise. There's so many other organizations with the word Black in it. And it
Yeah.
was just, I can't believe that I'm getting this much trouble with me and my attorney for, to trademark Black Fashion Week. And there's a lot of fashion weeks out there. There's Asian fashion weeks out there. There's a lot of other fashion weeks out there. So it was
Yeah.
a journey. But I thank God that I pushed through.
So how do you define Black Fashion Week? What
Black
is Black Fashion Week?
It's defined by the exposure and the showcase of, I would say, minority designers, African American designers, those of the African diaspora, or descendants of the African diaspora. So you could be African Caribbean, you could be, wherever you're from, and you are a descendant of our African ancestors. That is what I define. That is how I define the term Black for my brand, and highlighting Black models, designers primarily, and then other fashion businesses like boutique owners and fashion stylists, as in addition to the designers.
Okay. So what about like I think they call it Latin. Um what in regards to that group of people that are considering themselves Black, but also a Latin background, do you consider those people as well in regards to Black fashion?
Most certainly, because they have some form of African ancestry. And I'm also open to those who are born that do not have African ancestry, but born in the continent of Africa, because you do have Africans that are not Black Africans, or as we, descendants of African
Yeah.
countries. But they were born in Africa, so that makes them African. Just like, the controversy with us, some of our, African Americans feel like they're predominantly American because they're born in America, and they don't want to be defined as African.
Right.
But our ancestry, if we trace it back somewhere, defines the color of our skin. So that is the determining factor that I'm using across the world globally to define
Okay.
Black.
Okay. And there's a question. It says, "Are you able to help young people with body image issues?"
So yes. So how are we determining body images? Are they not comfortable with their body image, or are they dressing for the wrong body image? Sometimes, we hear about people wearing certain clothing that may not be flattering to their body figure, which is possible. And or how to dress, for the interview. What are the things that you should be wearing? There is a such thing as dress appropriateness for different types of events. So you can't just wear something that you would wear, for a social occasion. Is it there's a term that we like to use. Is it appropriate for the occasion? So those are other social dressing etiquette. Dress etiquette is what I'm looking for. Yeah, I definitely am able to assist with that. In recent years, I've went to CPS, and I've talked to kids about like careers in fashion, and breaking down the hierarchy of fashion. That kids may not know about behind the scenes. So I'm definitely open to that.
Okay. There's some deeper questions that I want to ask you, but right now we are going to take a break. We're going to play our trailer, and then we're going to get into the game. So here we go. Asia Jamal Rogers, and I'm a singer, songwriter, choreographer, voice actor, and I'm the creator and talk show host of Pure Live. Pure is an acronym for perfectly undefined raw elegance. So naturally, we want our content to be pure, raw, and elegant. It airs live every Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. And if you'd like to see all of the episodes, you can reach it at asiajamal.com, ASIAJAMAL.com. Or if you'd like to be on the show, you can reach me at asia@asiajamal.com. Hope to see you soon. I hope you guys wrote all that stuff down. And remember that if not, I'm going to remind you throughout the show. But we are going to get started with Find the Fake. Yes, indeed. Those of you that are paying attention to the show, if you get the right answer, can be sent a gift. If you get the right answer. All right. I know every single week people ask me to do it more than once. So here we go. One time. Wow. And hi, husband. I see he joined. I get so excited every time I see him. So, those of you, I hope you were paying attention. If you guess it correctly, and you can get something from Pure Live. If you need it to be played again, you may let me know. But know that I pay attention to the timestamp. So if you watch this whole thing and answer later, you don't count. Don't cheat. Okay, so I'll play it again before we get off. I promise you I'll play it again. So you have the opportunity to go ahead and answer the question whether or not, which one is the fake. All right. So getting back to the show, I want to get deeper into the whole body image situation. So those that people and that have been following me through the years, you may have noticed, I'm technically a plus woman over her. Right. So I started off smaller. Oh, and by the way, the questions are about the guest. They're not about me. Okay. Okay. So, because I had that question. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So I started off pretty small, all the way up until the age of, I want to say 20. I was a size 3, 4. Okay. And then after a while, I went to a size 6. And then after some health issues and what have you, I finally crossed over to the double digits. So I'm like 12, depending on the clothing. So with that being said, the things that you present in your guide, do they cover those kind of people?
Yes, they do. Of the 5 main body type figures listed in my the chart, it does cover, without giving it away, it does cover aspects of like full figure body figure types. So, even though, how can I explain this? So no matter what your frame is, whether you're a small frame or big frame, but the body figures classic big body figures are still the same. So someone can still be an hourglass figure, but in a smaller body frame or a larger body frame. And you see that all the time. You see full
Mhm.
figure with hourglass
Right.
figure. Or they may have what we call the V shape, or they might be a pear
Mhm.
shape. They may have a round
Right.
shape, and these are the body figures that I'm um, images that I'm referring to. So you're in my book. There is recommendations for women and what to wear.
Okay. That's excellent. What do you consider yourself? Are you flirt, or what would you consider yourself?
Hmm. I'm glad you said that because I'm a shorty. I'm kind of like in between the cusp of a short girl and an average height girl. So like five
Okay.
three, 5'4". And so prior to having my son, I've kind of been up and down in my weight since a younger girl too. But then most of my adulthood, I've been very small, like a size 2 or 4. And it wasn't until like the 35th week of pregnancy where I got preeclampsia, and it blew me up in terms
Mhm.
of weight. So now I went from a size 6, six, pre, and then I'm a
Mhm.
14, like 14, 16, and I'm 5'4". So the weight when you're short goes horizontal
Mhm.
instead of vertical. So
Yeah.
I kind of consider myself a petite plus. Or on the cusp of a petite Mrs. size, because I'm in between. I can fit some Mrs. sizes like 14, 16, and then I can some plus size 0X, as they say, or 1X or something. I can fit. So I'm on that cusp, and I'm in the
Mhm.
height too. So we
Right.
got multiple things going on. So I feel like
Mhm.
I'm a curvy, kind of like a curve. Right now, I'm a full figure petite girl.
Okay, I understand because I'm shorter than you are. I am 5'2".
Really? I
I
can't see. I was
am
no.
I'm a little bitty. I'm a little
Wow.
bitty. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a 12, 14. So let me ask you, since you said that you were actually in the single digits before, now you're in the double digits before, right now, did it affect your self-esteem? Did it change how you viewed yourself?
I think, initially for me, definitely after giving birth to a child and not being able to, I didn't bounce back as quickly as I thought I would. And
Mm.
primarily it's because of the health issues that I had with the preeclampsia. I didn't have the energy like I would normally want to 6 weeks after giving birth to hit the gym, to hit, you know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
think that it was well into like, it was almost well into almost he was turning a year before I even was like, okay, I'm gonna start working out. Like I was just like so like as a mom, it was like a roller coaster, like in terms of like the things like, up all night, things like that from one stage to the
Mm.
baby to the next, that I didn't really work out like that. So I think initially it bothered me, but I feel like fearfully when it's made, and regardless of what size I am, I feel like as long as you know how to dress for your body type and you can complement the parts of
Mm.
your body figure at no matter what size you are, you can still,
Mhm.
look great in your clothes. Ideally, we have goals. We may want to, work on areas of our bodies that will make us
Mhm.
happy, and long as we're doing it for the right reasons. Um, internally, doing, losing weight
Yeah.
for us to be healthy, and not just because you want, you're not liking who you are. But I think I've embraced the new me. Though I still have goals to lose weight again, but I think embracing the new me, it has, it's fine. I'm dressing for
Yeah.
this figure, the body figure type that I have.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I'm sorry.
How many kids do you have?
Oh, I have one. He's a
Yeah.
toddler. So he's 3.5.
Oh,
So yeah, I have one.
how adorable. I don't have any toddlers anymore.
Oh, how old are
I
you?
so have a blend as far as the ones I gave birth to. I have a 16-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Oh wow, preteens, senior preteens.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Ooh,
really
yeah, exciting. Those are those special changes. So, oh my
yes,
gosh, I
include me
swear.
and my toddler. I'm saying things to him that I'm thinking. I'm like, wait, I should be saying this when you're like a preteen, but I'm talking to a smart 3-year-old, right? Like really, really smart. So I'm like,
Yeah.
at every stage we're gonna be fussing at our kids for
Yeah,
something, right?
right. It's amazing what these children are learning these days, and how young they are when they find these things out. We're like, why are you asking me? Did you know?
Mhm.
So, out of all my children, I have so blended wise, we have 7 kids all together, with my husband. But as far as giving birth, I have 2 boys and a girl. The girl is the baby.
Mm.
And first of all, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous, flexible. She's an artist. She can sing. She has all these wonderful things going for her. At the same time, she struggles with who she is. So, in regards to fashion, in my eyes, I have had a love hate relationship because I feel like she's learned from things that are on social media and stuff like that, or what have you, in regards to what's acceptable and, what's okay, what's beautiful. And I've had to try to encourage her and let her know that she's beautiful, that she's acceptable, that it's okay to be who she is. So, in regards to being in the fashion industry, how do you address stuff like that? When people have like body dysmorphia, or they feel like they're not beautiful enough for the rest of the world, how do you address that?
Oh wow. I think I addressed it by reassuring that um, there are no two people alike on the planet of this earth, and that everyone is uniquely
Mm,
designed. Everyone has, positive and beautiful features. In my viewpoint, to them, so that we should, the world will, it will have us compare or try to normalize a standard of beauty. And there really isn't any standard of beauty. There is one that is portrayed more consistent and
mm,
dominantly consistent than the others. And I think I would say to embrace who you are and your personality, and to dress for.
mm,
I think when I was younger, I dressed more for, trends and things of that sort. But I think the
mm,
more I grow into my own, who I am as a woman, I wear what I like. I could be I say fashion chameleon. I could be sporty this day, conservative the next day. Although I think I am predominantly more conservative, but I think I
mm,
wear what I want, and regardless. And then in regards to trends, and in regards to labels. Okay, so sometimes the kids see labels and think, oh,
mm,
I'm cool because I'm wearing Nike or Gucci or Prada or whatever label they
mm.
have these
Right.
days we're wearing. But I think the label doesn't define you. You always make the clothes, and the clothes do not make you. So I would tell her, to just really embrace who she is, and to wear what she wants to wear and how she feels. Because that's how we dress.
Mm,
We predominantly dress based on our personality, our body figure types,
mm,
and our, I would
mm.
say, our environment. So those are some of the things that I would tell her to embrace her positive attributes.
Okay. So you kind of opened the door to something else. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know I'm not beating her up at all. We haven't even talked before now. So I'll just kind of drill it in. Um, so the fashion industry has had so many different changes and phases, things like that. And one of the things that I've been challenged with, and I'm bringing it back to the children because those are the ones that have challenged me the most, right? So one of the things that my daughter, my sons have challenged me with is what is male fashion versus female fashion, and um, Will Smith's children,
Mm,
his son Jaden, wearing like dresses and stuff like that, or males that are wearing long shirts and things that the traditional fashion industry would say probably be more feminine is being accepted into the masculine world, or male world, I'll say.
mhm.
With all of that being said, and do you think that defining what is male versus female, or what is plus size versus petite, do you think all of that matters, or do you think fashion should encompass all of it?
Hmm. I think in some regard it does matter.
Okay.
Okay, a little known fact: before the 1950s, pink was for boys and blue was for girls. It wasn't until after
Hmm.
World War, I want to say one or two, that they swapped it to become a social norm. Pink girls, and I didn't know that until I was in school
Hmm.
studying, and I will never forget. We studied psychology of colors and what they
Okay.
mean and how. And so I was like, oh wow. And
Hmm.
so a lot of men, I mentioned that today, they get a lot of at the what's the word? They get a lot of backlash for wearing pink on certain
Hmm.
colors of pink. But I feel like it's who's wearing it and how they're wearing it that defines whether or not
Hmm.
it's masculine or feminine. So it was taking in consideration who is the person overall and how are they how are they portraying themselves. So who are they portraying themselves to be? Are they portraying themselves to be men or a woman? And if it is it tasteful? Even because I see a lot
Hmm.
of men, show up on the red carpet with pink suit, and I'm like, he looks good in that suit, and he's not gay. He's
Hmm.
masculine. It looks
Hmm.
good, but then you have another person come on, and it just like, it gives a whole different meaning to the
Hmm.
to the look. In terms of like I think that is what defines it. And men also wore skirts in certain eras of the world. So, but at the same time, I could see how gender roles could be, it could get misconstrued, with certain
Hmm.
items that are traditionally for women that men are wearing. So I think in terms of the colors, I'm not as opposed to, as more so certain different garments that are meant for women, that are explicitly meant for women. Let me just say that, right? Like a bazaar. So,
Yeah.
so the types of things that I look that I consider when and what the person I'm wearing and how they're portraying themselves.
Okay. So, what recommendations would you make? I guess for all the different variations of people that are out there that are like, I'm trying to find myself. I'm trying to find my fashion. I'm trying to find my look. What advice do you give to them in regards to doing that and being able to fit with um, society as a whole right now? Because I feel like a lot of people are struggling with that, and everybody gotta get a job. They gotta have a way of paying their bills and stuff like that, and so they struggle with how they're allowed to present themselves. What advice would you give to those people?
I think you should definitely be yourself, but if there are rules and regulations and there's some social norms or that are put in place for environments for a reason. Like we don't go to church with high mini skirt. Well, you're not supposed to go in low cut blouses. Correct. That is
Right.
a cultural.
Yeah.
So in the work environment, you're not going to show up with, you know what I mean, like it depends on what work environment you are in, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like for I've went to job interviews for fashion companies too conservative and I didn't get that position because the culture of that
Mm-hmm.
company was more down to earth, more, casual wear, right? But I'm so used to dressing up that department stores, I'm like, wait, I'm not going. This is a
Yeah.
specialty store that I'm going to. They want to see me more laid back. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't. So it depends on that young person. I would tell them, or that person in general. You have to look and take in consideration who you are and what environment you are going to be in. You have to. We have to dress the part for the different environments that we are, and that doesn't mean that you're not true to yourself. It just that means that there are there are fashion guidelines put in place for different environments, and you can
You're
still
right.
find yourself within those social environments that you are in.
Okay. So, like, what kind of people have you found yourself, developing a fashion profile, so to speak? Have you dealt with famous people? Have you dealt with, people that are trying to get into certain industries? Like, what kind of people have you dealt with?
Well, lately in the last like 7 years, I've dealt with more so models and emerging fashion designers because those are the
Okay.
people that I either
Hmm.
one booked for my own production or booked for other production in other cities like New York Fashion Week. So I've been like on the inside, industry
Hmm.
as far as working with people. Haven't really worked what we call like not too much business to consumer, and not until recently since I launched a t-shirt, especially t-shirt collections. So, but like prior to those days, I worked with consumers in the stores, like when I was doing visual merchandising or
Hmm.
styling in a high fashion environment. Then I would come across the everyday person and dressing them for whatever role that they may or whatever for their needs. So I predominantly have come across mainly more business people and predominantly in the fashion industry.
Okay. Okay. Um, so I myself, contrary to popular belief, have not been all that great with fashion. So yeah, well, the things that I've been wearing, I either got stuff from like Posh Women's Apparel or Stitch Figs, and honestly, like my husband or my brother or my parents have contributed to what I wear from day to day or for the show or, even for the trailer that I played. Because I'm just not, not in tune with what looks best for me. The guide that you have printed, do you think that would assist with people like me that is not, real fashion savvy, but wants to project a really good image?
I Yes, most certainly. I think the little black boutique guy is it's perfect for a business professional or any type of woman of color, in my opinion, because one, you're going to be introduced to so many other new clothing outlets and streams of places, retailers where you can go and check out the different fashion and kind of find which stores, right, match your personality, your body figure,
Okay.
clothes that they may have that complement your lifestyle is the word that I'm looking for. And then the guide itself will kind of help navigate, like, okay, if you're busty on top, what are the types of blouses that will complement you, you know what I mean, the best for your
Mhm.
skin. Like everything you have on right now it looks really fabulous because I'm looking at your hair color and I'm looking at your skin tone. I'm like, okay, so she has, the dual tones are gonna look great on you. And I used to be so good. I'm rusty a little bit, but I could usually look at a woman and be like, okay, you should try this hair color. This is gonna try these earth tone colors or try this pastel. Try, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Tinted colors or try and things of that sort. But I think my guide will serve as a tremendous blessing in terms of guiding you and learning different fabrications and sometimes what those fabrications can help do for our fashion. Sometimes fabrications can help us out in areas where if you're not you don't have hips, wearing certain types of skirts and pants can give you an illusion that you have something you don't. I do it all the time. And so, or we can reduce some of our body figure based on wearing, vertical lines. It kind of take away when you're short like me. I don't wear too many horizontal prints. Because it's going to enlarge what it's going to it's not going to flatter the areas where I'm trying to cover. But if I wear vertical, just an example, if I wear something in vertical lines or pinstripe, it might elongate me, right? To make me appear a little bit taller than when I.
Mm.
So there are so many different like things to fashion and
Mhm.
clothing and patterns and different fabrications that have movement. Others are fabrications that are more stiffer and things of that. And there's fabrications that have texture that really can help, you know, can help accentuate areas that may not be a focal point for us, right? So I think the guy
Right.
ultimately it will serve as a blessing to Black-owned fashion boutiques, but as well as all of the other businesses in the guide, like complimenting art galleries and bookstores and restaurants by neighborhood. Everything a girl would need when she goes to the mall, right? She goes shopping, she goes,
Right.
you may check out a movie or art gallery or a
Mhm.
cultural institution. So that's predominantly what is in my guide.
Okay. That sounds excellent. So I'm just wondering, even though it says Black Fashion Week USA.com, can it I guess, transcend to other races or people of color or maybe even white people? Could it still help guide other races as well?
Yes, because even though the term black is for the book Black or Black Fashion Week, it's just a cultural celebration. It was my initial mission and vision was to highlight um, African American designers culturally. So anyone wanting to partake in have those cultural experiences, with visually of Black designers on the runway or patronizing those businesses that are where everything is designed, they most certainly can. Fashion has no racial boundaries, but my platform
Mhm.
is spotlighting those who may not be spotlighting in other platforms, and it's a cultural
Mhm.
celebration of Black designers. So they're more likely, most likely, and they're very welcome. I think in the past, at some of my events, I've had like 1% Caucasian audience, and I'm like, wow, they come out to
Hmm.
see the show. Yeah, I've had
Mhm.
3% models that are a few Caucasian and Latino models model within the platform. So I am not opposed to having diversity on the runway, but my
Mhm.
purpose is to continue to spotlight those designers of color.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And as the title says, Black fashion excellence. It's a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. And I applaud you for doing what you're doing. Um, and I'm definitely gonna, keep a tab on you and what you're doing because I need to my game in the fashion industry. You feel me?
It is a continuous
So
journey. It is. I say it's
all right.
always evolving, right? So like like
Yeah.
what you like or your taste might change.
Mm.
Different colors that you wore, you might find yourself wearing. Like I've become sporty. I have a toddler that I chase, and then being a
Mm.
heel type girl, I have
Mhm.
now find much comfort and joy in buying sports wear attire. So my
Okay.
fitness gear, my cute little, I even ordered a fanny pack. I was like, oh, because I need to keep up and run after my toddler. So
Ooh.
I'm like, my fashion taste has tremendously changed, and I've kind of like become a little bit more casual lately,
Mm.
than
Okay.
the more bling blinged out, maybe because we were in the COVID, but like toned down a
Yeah.
little bit in terms of
Mm.
and so with that evolving, it's like, oh, where do I go for this, and how can I style, so how can I still be very sporty chic here?
Right. Wow. Fanny packs. Oh my, that's a throwback for real.
And it's major trend. It's been a major trend, I would say, in the last couple of years or so. Like, the fanny packs are here
Wow.
to stay. Like I see them everywhere.
Mhm. That's amazing how things come back around, isn't
Yeah.
it? So ladies and gentlemen, if you go to her website, blackfashion.usa.com, and sign up for her newsletter, you'll get all kinds of information. I'm signed up myself. So, please, like her website, sign up for the newsletter. I will be writing a blog like I always do in regards to this episode, and you can get to her website and this episode through my website, asianjamal.com or asianjamal.net. But if you want specifically, information about events and things that are coming up, blackfashionweekusa.com. Get with it. Okay. So, like I promised, I am going to run that game one more time, and Melody is going to give the right answer. So, we're going to find the fake. Here we go. All right. You had some very interesting answers there, some interesting statements. So, Miss Melody, will you tell my viewers which one was the fake?
Well, the fake was I lived in Zimbabwe for 2 years.
Wow. So the answer I got was A. So A was incorrect. So the fake was that you lived in Zimbabwe. So you studied abroad in Ghana for 3 years?
Yes, that is correct. No, 3 weeks.
3 weeks. I'm sorry, my bad. Wow. So studying what?
So, I had a minor in Black American Studies, and my professor was Ghanaian, and every year he took the students to that was in his African American Studies classes. We had the opportunity to go to Ghana and study for 3 weeks. We studied, and my dissertation was the ties that bind Ghanaians in America, and Americans or Black Americans, and that is in
Hmm.
culture, in terms of language, music, lifestyle. And I learned so much about why we do what we do, as Black Americans in this country. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much I had a
Wow.
experience there visiting slave castles. Oh my God. And yeah, slave castles, the largest canopy in the world. I mean, cocoa comes from Ghana, right? We keep forgetting that the world's
Mm.
largest supply of cocoa comes from Ghana. And so,
Wow.
from Parliament to W.B. Du Bois's house to the
Hmm.
Ashanti Kingdom, the kings and queens of the Ashanti family, up close and personal. I remember it like yesterday, right? This happened a long time ago. 2005, when I back in those days, but like I can remember it vividly, like the experiences I had, like seeing an alligator like up
Mhm.
close is just so like it was interesting. Very interesting. Um,
Wow.
just different different experiences that I will always cherish and I will never forget until I return again.
Wow, that is so amazing. I look forward to the day that I do that because I have not traveled outside of the country yet. I definitely plan on doing so. So I'll, pay attention to what you're saying. And I do appreciate you coming on the show. We're into the show. Thank you so much for coming on and educating us on fashion, Black fashion. Truly appreciate it. And everybody that's been watching, first of all, remember to embrace God's perfect, which is you. And, be free to embrace different cultures. So I am very mixed. I am mulatto, mutt, whatever you want to call me. I have so many different nationalities, so many different races inside of me. Um, and it just so happens that the people in my home embrace more of the Latin culture. We like a lot of Latin food and how they dress and things like that. Um, but I try to make sure that my children understand the other cultures that they're involved with. It's a beautiful thing to get to know the rest of the world, to get to know all the different cultures. We are all a part of the human race. But I would encourage my Afro Americans to get to know your culture first and foremost, and to be comfortable with embracing who you are. That's why I said to remember to embrace God's perfect design, which is you. Would you agree, Miss Melody?
Absolutely. Everything you said was just it was just really divine, and I agree. Definitely have to embrace who God has called us to be, who we are. We're uniquely, fearfully, and wonderfully made.
Absolutely. And did you have any final words for our audience?
Yeah, I pray that everyone is able to connect with the Black fashion business, whether it's through my organization or on your own. And I hope that you would pick up the Little Black Bootsy Guide at Barnes and Noble or Amazon, or even get a signed copy at my website so that you could tour Black fashion right here in Chicago by neighborhood.
Absolutely. Remember to go to blackfashionweekusa.com and sign up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please come back next Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know what it is, Pure Live. And if you go to my website, you can sign up for the newsletter and you will find out other things that you won't see on this show, any discounts or merchandise or whatever we might come up with. You will be privy to before everybody else. So have a good evening. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
so weird.